Hello, I'm little Gezzy Bear, and welcome to my series of local history talks on Canberra, the nation's capital. Today we look at Carol Lyon and her freestanding bell tower.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Carol Lyon was fascinated with bells from an early age. Her mother would take her into the city, from their suburban Sydney house, so she could hear the bells ringing as Sunday morning mass started at St Mary's Cathedral. They would then walk to the GPO in Martin Place, to hear the big clock chime 12 times for midday. Even into her 20s, she trawled the city at Christmas asking every Santa Claus she met, could she ring his bell? During the Depression and World War II you had to make your own fun.
Fascinating.
In the early 1960s, after the breakdown of her fifth marriage, and with no one seemingly understanding her love of bells, Carol moved to Canberra, to make a fresh start. She was immediately attracted to the bells at the Canberra Cathedral. At the time, the Canberra bells were rung by a troupe of hunchback Transylvanian monks.
Impressive.
Carol got to know the monks, and helped to care for them and the bells. She now knew she had found her place in life. On Sunday mornings, as she listened to the bells, and looked at her photo of Pope Paul VI, she imagined that the Pope was ringing the bells, and that she was his Esmeralda.
Little Gezzy Bear, I'm speechless.
Suddenly, a Union official, recently arrived from New Zealand, raided the cathedral, and discovered the substandard living conditions of the monks. The bells were shut down, and Carol left the church devastated.
Tragic.
But her love of bells did not go away. She wanted a new bell tower, and it would not be in a church. She decided to build a freestanding bell tower. With the bicentenary a few years away, she decided to ask Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, could England donate a tower to Australia as a present? Carol's letter to the Queen went unanswered, but Carol was undaunted, and undertook a knitting and letter-writing campaign. She knitted various items of clothing for the royal family, and with each parcel she sent to Windsor Castle she included a note asking for the bell tower.
I liked Lady Diana. I would have danced with her.
I like the Queen Mother. Anyway, eventually the knitting campaign worked, and the Queen agreed to England donating a freestanding bell tower to Canberra. Carol was ecstatic. The Queen informed the Australian government whose idea the tower was, and Carol was asked to be at the opening after the tower was built.
What an honor.
As the building of the tower reached completion, the then National Capital Development Authority decided that the tower should be called the Carol Lyon Freestanding Bell Tower, and suggested to the United Nations Commission on Freestanding Bell Towers that all freestanding bell towers be generically called Carol Lyon. The UN Commission accepted the recommendation, and due to the multilinguistic machinations of the United Nations, the French translation became the official name for freestanding bell towers, Carillon. And so Canberra's new freestanding bell tower was called the National Carillon.
Riveting, little Gezzy Bear.
As the bells rang out at the opening of the tower, Carol fondly remembered her days in the cathedrals listening to the bells, but she now realized that the clean open air was where she was meant to hear bells.
Truly awesome.
In her old age, Carol still visits the Carillon every time the bells are played. And she lays on the grass beneath the tower, she hears the bells and is joyful. And that is the story of Carol Lyon, one of the treasures of Canberra, the nation's capital.
Please tell me, little Gezzy Bear, that you have another spectacular story.
Indeed I have, Rufus T. Bear. Next time I'll be talking about Jim Cook and the burst water main.